So I have to admit, I was surprised when I saw this covered in Fox News. I'm not gonna lie, because I mean, for the most part, it's really objective coverage. I'm not gonna lie, and they actually condemn the actions of the people that I'm going to be talking about. But this is like kind of weird for me. So excuse me if I seem a little bit uncomfortable. But so two ICE agents, DHS specifically, the Department of Homeland Security, got caught sharing an anti-Ilhan Omar social media post, and they liked it as well. Now, some people say, excuse me, if you don't like Omar, you can share. And first of all, no. I mean, if you're an ICE agent, you shouldn't be unless you're talking about policies that have nothing to do with who votes on your job, things like that. Then you maybe shouldn't be slamming any politician unless they are like maybe a direct threat to your job. And even then, you're like as a veteran, it was highly discouraged to, especially officers. It was actually illegal because the president is technically within your direct chain of command. But even for a soldier, it was highly discouraged to critique politicians directly by name, and especially you definitely don't say anything incendiary. These ICE agents violated all those rules. So, a social media post, and this is reported once again by Fox News, surprisingly enough, but a social media post insinuating that Representative Ilhan Omar was a terrorist threat was recently shared and liked by two immigration and customs enforcement officers, otherwise known as ICE. They were investigators, excuse me, according to reports this week. Now, the post described the Muslim American lawmaker as a quote-unquote Trojan horse who came to the U.S. because of a refugee outbreak during the Obama administration. Wow. The post included a misleading video clip that purported to show Omar admitting to taking terrorism classes, according to the report. Now, a senior Homeland Security Investigations, or HSI agent, Leslie Deriwanko, shared the post on his LinkedIn, and the news network reported, ABC reported that. And so it goes on to say, in quotes, he said, in quotes, and this is what represents America, in the caption. Wow. Now, Jerry Template, Deputy Special Agent in charge of HSI's, or once again, Homeland Security Investigations, San Francisco office, in charge of it, liked the post. HSI is the investigative branch of ICE, in case you were wondering. So Deriwanko has also used LinkedIn to comment on posts expressing anti-immigrant views. Dalia Mogahed, I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong, so my apologies. But she's the director of research at the Institute for Social Policy and Understanding. She says, which I couldn't really say better myself, it is alarming that a public official charged with executing our immigration policies endorses such toxic views of refugees, Muslims, and an elected official. Oh man, I once again, broken record. If you want to know how systemic racism looks, it doesn't always look like a policy. It doesn't always look like slavery. It doesn't always look like segregation. Intersectional systemic racism looks like these dudes who are put in charge of job situations, whatever, where they get to decide the outcome of refugees, immigrants, and everything in between. People of color who have been affected in a negative way by United States foreign policy and the policies of the rest of the Western imperialistic cabal, they get to decide whether or not someone is taken to jail. People like this were the ones who executed that plan to basically target 21 Savage, the rapper, to try and get him deported because he spoke about Flint, Michigan in his songs, because of what he's doing, likely because of what he's doing in Atlanta in the poor communities, teaching financial literacy classes, because he called out the immigration crisis and was about to perform this song at the Grammys. They target. Now, let's be very clear about something. It's hard to target when you're white. It's hard to be targeted when you're white by ICE. You've never seen, I guarantee you, ask a white Argentinian who's an immigrant here. Ask a white, like I'm talking, there's some white Venezuelans, white Colombians that have been targeted by. I know a friend, Brazilian, but she's a white Brazilian, even though her dad is technically what would be referred to as Negreño, but she passes as a white Brazilian. She was arrested, kind of a wrongful arrest, but she was arrested. And in the courts at this point in South Florida, they were actually having ICE agents wait to deport people the moment not once they've been convicted, but once they've gotten into an arraignment. If you didn't have an immigration attorney there, you were gone. She is a dreamer, and guess what happened? Because she speaks perfect English, even though Brazilian Portuguese, Carioca, actually, so Rio de Janeiro Portuguese specifically is her first language. She speaks English perfectly and is a dreamer. And because she's white passing, because of her eye color, because she had blonde hair, they didn't even think twice. So these type of people don't target because they're okay with white people who speak English and who they don't. If you look like you're one of us in their minds, they're fine with it. It's the moment that you don't look like us, and your culture, the culture that you seemingly express via body language, dressing, whatever. That is when it becomes a problem for people like this. So it isn't the white people, the white immigrants. It is brown people. This is sad. And once again, I'm honestly surprised. Now, the original story came from ABC. BuzzFeed did a piece on it. But the fact that even Fox News reported this, I'm impressed, to be honest with you. But it once again shows you, like, you know how the right is. Even the establishment right. They don't like, they gotta have buzzwords. You gotta use the buzzwords, the dog whistles. You can't be overtly racist. That's how they feel. Got dog whistles, Southern strategy. Come on, don't ruin it. But this is sad. Literally one guy in charge of an office in San Francisco, where we know for a fact immigration in California is extremely high. Legitimate, what people will perceive as illegitimate or undocumented, or otherwise. It's high, and this guy is in charge of it. It's crazy. This is what America looks like, is what that investigator said, as in trying to insinuate that Ilhan Omar is some type of Muslim Trojan horse. Do you think that they are unique? To be a part of ICE, first of all, you got to be some type of sick in the head, in my opinion. It's already, like, I'm sure some people who are just genuinely concerned about preserving our borders. But when you kind of start to realize that most of our borders are being, we used to have until recently, actually, we had a pretty open relationship with Canada. It wasn't until Trump got in office that they started cracking down on the Canadian border. And it wasn't us that was doing it. It was them. But the fact that we're so concerned with attacking and chasing down refugees, like ISIS, refugees, brown people from Latin America, and we never, ever, ever once hear any type of disparaging attack about there are a lot of Eastern Europeans here, a lot of them, millions. Doesn't matter, and they're here. A lot of them are here undocumented because of the turmoil and sometimes once again perpetuated in their countries that Western Europe can be attributed to, and they're here for a better life, and I don't fault them for that, and they shouldn't be demonized for that. But the fact that they're not going to be targeted by these people. I mean, the guy is clearly Eastern European of some type. His name is Devizhenko, something like that. What's his name? Deriwanko. So I doubt he's going to be going after Eastern Europeans in the same ferocity as he would someone who looks like Ilhan Omar. I'd love to know your thoughts about this. Let me know. Thank you for watching that segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa. Help us reach our goal of 500 patrons. You can do so by donating as little as $1 by clicking on the Patreon link in the description below. Don't forget, join us on Roku and JustNForm. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook as well. And remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.